Hey everyone, in this video I'll be ranking the top 5 best class mods for Vex in Borderlands 4. This is updated for Ultimate Vault Hunter 7 and the new takedown at Hadron Abyss, which both introduce new class mods for Vex that are kind of interesting, which we'll be breaking down in this video. Vex currently has 10 legendary class mods, with 2 of the very rare purples being just as good as some of the legendaries here, and actually in most cases better than them. But I'll do a brief overview here. We have the Avatar, which is focused around her attunement skills. You get a variety of the different attunements. They increase the duration of them by 70%, and you get 30% increased damage for you and your minions per attunement that's active. Configuration, which dropped with Story Pack 1, is pretty interesting because you can open up these rifts that'll deal gun damage based on whatever weapon that you have equipped, and this is more so for using like Trouble or the minions. We also have the Illusionist here, which recently got buffed. It will allow you to summon in a badass Spectre or Reaper, and this used to happen every 90 seconds. It got reduced down to 30 seconds. It actually has some pretty solid skill rolls. We also have the Kindred Spirits here, which gives you 75% bonus kinetic minion damage with guns for 10 seconds, and command skills will deal gun damage in addition to the other types. The Technomancer allows your Eldritch Blast to deal ordnance damage in addition to the other damage types. Killing an enemy, triggering kill skills, or using a grenade will reset the cooldown on Eldritch Blast. We also have the Misericord here, which phase daggers have a chance to ricochet. Critical hits will grant a stack of Misery, which gives you increased skill damage, which can stack up to 50 times. The Teen Witch, everyone knows this one, gives you lifesteal on your shields and overshield. And we also have the Undead Eye. This one's more so focused around using sniper rifles, and you can get bloodshot off critically hitting. This also works on the bod. And Vex's newest class mod, the Living Weapon. When she deals action skill damage, she has a 2% chance to trigger kill skills. This can only happen every 5 seconds. Not really a Seeing Dead Zane situation. It's kind of mild in terms of its effects, but it does have some great skill rolls, which opens up new build ideas. Now, I just want to quickly mention 2 of her purples. I would actually rank these as number 2 and number 3 of her best class mods, but in the interest of just showing off the legendaries, I'm not going to include them in this list, so they'll just be honorable mentions. The Fire Dancer. This gives us one of Vex's most powerful skills with reverberations. This is crazy in the mantra because every time you shoot it, you have a chance to deal incendiary melee damage, and it's 150% chance, and this is actually something that'll stack with something like the Watts for Dinner. Very powerful, especially if you want to do like a blue skill tree and build into melee damage, take things like Fell Inscriptions. It deletes bosses really quickly. And also give a shout out to the Scion class mod, which can give you additional bleeds. Now, bleeds aren't as good as they used to be, but they're still very powerful. And if you want to do a bleed focused Vex, Scion would be the way to go. And I'll be honest, one of Vex's class mods is by far the best above all the others. But I want to try and make this a interesting list to generate some discussion. So I'm actually going to give a tie to her 5th place best class mod. We're going to throw in the Undead Eye. This one kind of fell off in terms of its effectiveness because you have to use fast firing sniper rifles. The big downside to that is you run out of ammo really quickly in things like the Takedown or Subjugator and Thole the Invincible. Now, what this does is whenever you get a kill, you trigger Bloodshot. Critically hitting an enemy with a sniper rifle will give you a 33% chance to trigger Bloodshot. Bloodshot giving you 50% bonus damage based on your current health, and it can scale up to 100% when you got 10 stacks of this. Now, to take advantage of this, you want to use weapons like the bod here. However, you're not going to have a great time with sustaining your ammunition with a lot of these weapons. The new Marshal's Claw works pretty decent with it as a burst weapon. We also have the new Light Gun, which shoots really quickly, which can work actually with this. You're incentivized to use fast firing sniper rifles over something like a very high damage sniper rifle because of how it works. You're adding your health to all these attacks, so you want something that's going to shoot quickly to trigger it often. I also like to use this with something like the Stray. So for an example, this is what it looks like here. So yeah, you're really incentivized to make sure that you're getting critical hits. So things like the critical hit knife can work really well. Fast firing guns, here's a light gun. So you can see some of our attacks here, once we get crits, we'll start dealing, they have a 33% chance to give you the bloodshot. This weapon's weird where you have to slide or crouch to actually reload it. So you're gonna see bursts of damage. It's more so an RNG focused weapon and not really like super powerful. It really does focus on using a fast firing sniper rifle. So things like the Stray are pretty solid for this overall, because with the Stray you're actually able to get your shots hit more accurately, and with a Ripper Part this thing does fire pretty quickly. But yeah, in terms of its overall damage, try against Subjugator and Thole the Invincible. You'll see its shortcomings. The damage isn't like super amazing when our health scaling isn't really that crazy, and I don't really see this being a really good option later on whenever the level cap increases. So that's why it is a tie for 5th place with the Illusionist. Now, this one's interesting because they just recently changed it. So they gave you 3 times more of the badass Spectres and Reapers. Reapers and Spectres are actually pretty strong. I do have a couple builds posted. And the Mantra can actually do some pretty crazy stuff with like a blue skill tree setup. This is an Ultimate Vault Hunter 7. She can trigger a Groundbreaker with these attacks. It actually does a considerable amount of damage, and being able to spawn in like badass Reapers is really nice, especially when you can do that every 30 seconds or so. And yeah, this build actually does melt pretty well. You don't have like the infinite ammo sustain from like the Witchy Trigger Finger, but yeah, you see it there. You don't oftentimes have to reload more than a couple times. The skill rolls for this is Sanguine Fiends here, which gives you additional health whenever you get kills, which is nice because you can trigger kill skills pretty easily if you got like Mortal Terror, which activates them on critical hits, which your minions can do. The best skill roll would be to get 5 points into Prismatic Weaponry. Vex Interspectors deal bonus damage with gun critical hits. This bonus damage is based on a random elemental type that changes on reload. Pretty strong, honestly. You also do get a further increase to this for every active attunement skill that you have, so it can do some pretty good damage overall. It also comes with Spirit Bomb, Word to Goku, not really a great skill, and then Ancient Rites, which gives you additional minion damage. But yeah, you'd want 5 points Prismatic Weaponry, probably 2 into Sanguine Fiends for the sustain on your minions. Now in 4th place is the new Grim Sister, which comes from Subjugator and Thol the Invincible. Now, why this one is so good is not really the increased damage dealt the longer Incarnate is active, it's getting rolls into Mortal Terror without having to go all the way down in the green skill tree. With the level cap increasing, I see this less of a priority because yeah, you still want to come into the green skill tree anyways because there's a lot of great perks here, but this will at least open up some different build options later on. Mortal Terror is really great because when you get critical hits, it gives you a chance to activate your kill skills, which is amazing. This means you can get your rep kit back, you can get your gun damage scaled up. It's really nice. It also can give you rolls in the Shocking Attunement here, which gives you increased gun damage. That's okay. I like Grave Sustenance, but this is like a tier 1 perk, so nothing crazy here. It is a kill skill though, so it can get activated on critical hits. This is how you keep your action skill active like infinitely, because every time you get a kill, and with the takedown, that's very easy, you get your action skill duration restored. And why this is so good is that Vex will deal increased damage whenever she's in Incarnate. So the doubling this bonus for action skill damage, and whenever Incarnate ends, you'll do an explosion, which means you can also get your ammunition back, because whenever you start your Incarnate, it gives you that blast, which can trigger Witchy Trigger Finger, and even when you end it. So this is a solid pick. It can also come with points into Essence Leech here, which gives you extra lifesteal. The best roll will be like 5 Mortal Terror, 2 Essence Leech. So what it does is going to end up scaling up your damage dealt whenever you're in a fight, and the longer that you're able to stay in your Incarnate form, the better. This actually makes it pretty solid here for the takedown because we're getting a lot of kills, which means that we're sustaining our action skill. You see there, it's like not going down at all. So yeah, you can stay in your action skill for a long time, honestly, and that's really where the benefit really lies. So you just continually keep scaling up your overall damage, which is nice, but it isn't really as good as some of the others on this list. But yeah, it is something. Like our 3rd place, the Living Weapon. This just came in the takedown, and it's cool. It actually opens up more new build ideas. So whenever Vex deals action skill damage, 2% chance to trigger kill skills. That sucks. It's not really that good because with an Eldritch Blast, you're not really triggering this like often at all. And on top of that, it has a 5-second cooldown. I think they could remove the cooldown or maybe change the percentage to trigger kill skills. Maybe not the kill skills, because you can use this with other builds like the blue skill tree, and it's much more likely to. But yeah, that cooldown really does suck on it because you're having a much harder time with sustaining your kill skills, which you can now stack up to 9 if you get 3 points into Grave Power, because this will actually work on your Grave Implement, giving you the potential to get 180% gun damage. And it can also come with rolls into Grave Fiends, which is a kill skill. So this can get up to 9 stacks, which gives plus 10% damage dealt. So yeah, you can actually scale your damage up quite a bit with this. It can also come with points into Mourning, although with points in Mourning, it's not going to scale up your damage as much as getting the overall damage dealt from Grave Fiends, but it is a good choice. So yeah, you can stack up like all of these kill skills a lot more here, and you can even trigger your guns and needles to get your rep kit back. But yeah, the big thing here is Grave Power. Getting more points into that allows you to put more points into things. I did do a build a few days ago on this, and it is nice. You can get some like decent, it's not showing it right now because I don't have the kill skills, but once you start getting them rolling, you can get your gun damage over like 300%. You get that damage dealt up there. So it actually does some pretty solid stuff. And if you're taking I Am a Gun, the specialization, it will feed your gun's damage into your skill damage. So your Eldritch Blasts get even stronger. So it is a cool option. It can also give you an increased movement speed, which is always a luxury. We like movement speed. It's a fun choice, but it's not as good as the purples as mentioned. That's why I said the purples are like 2 and 3. But yeah, this is still a fun option. Number 2, configuration. This is the one class mod that makes trouble viable by means of using your gun's underbarrels and using your blood rifts to deal crazy damage. Now you do have to use something like the potato thrower here. You see the airstrike, 129k damage. That is where all of Trouble's damage comes from. Trouble themselves doesn't really do a whole lot of anything, but this works whenever you activate an action skill or command skill, opens a blood rift for a duration. A maximum of 2 blood rifts can be opened at a time. This will rapidly fire off the remnant minions, dealing kinetic gun damage based on a currently equipped gun. Best roll would be to get 5 points into Deadwire here, as this gives you increased shock minion damage, and there is a 10% chance to deal 400% gun damage dealt. At 10 points, that's 800%. 2-second cooldown, but it does a lot of damage. And also getting points into Blasted Fiends is kind of nice too. Now you want to get these rifts off as often as possible, so all the augments except for one don't work because they have a cooldown like 35 seconds, 45 seconds, 25 seconds. No cooldown. Phase Familiar takes 33% max health damage, but you can also get some points of Grave Thirst to sustain Trouble a little bit. Basically what you'll end up doing is going in, opening up your rift, and that is going to create that there, and then you can make Trouble take damage. Those 2 rifts, if you position it near the enemy, it's going to end up doing that, where you see it's shooting off those little rifts that do quite a bit amount of damage. This is Ultimate Vault Hunter 7 here. This is like a more tricky style of play to get to work properly, but it's genuinely the only way you can make Trouble actually worth something in this game. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. Trouble is hoping we'll see some more buffs to Trouble, but yeah, you got to kind of be gimmicky with the potato launcher here. I think there's some other guns you can use as well for this, but yeah, at least it makes Trouble somewhat viable. Sorry, I don't know if you guys saw that. My lamp broke and just fell on my desk and made a big mess. But yeah, this is the only way you can really redeem Trouble. And Vex's best class mod. I think everyone knew that this was coming. The Teen Witch. Some people may think that this is Vex's only class mod because the others aren't really worth using over this. The reason this is so good is it makes Vex one of the tankiest characters in the entire game. It gives her 12% lifesteal at level 60 here. And what that also does is applies to your shield and also gives you overshield. This is good for a variety of reasons, not just survivability, but it allows you to fuel the Watch for Dinner, which lets you use the full amp, which has drains 35% of your shields for 150% gun damage. On top of that, the Watch for Dinner also gives you a plus 25% shock damage. And the Watch for Dinner's biggest downside is its small shield size, which is kind of tricky to work around unless you have some way to sustain your shields. So it kind of works twofold together. You want to have both of these, and this just allows Vex to do pretty much anything with her builds. You can use the Teen Witch class mod with any of her class mods, and the best part about it is you can get 5 points of Grave Thirst, which is a kill skill that Vex and her minions gain life steal for a duration. So that's 7.5% per stack, max 3 or 6 stacks if you took the Mortal or Grave Power there, and you can activate it with Mortal Terror. It's crazy. So yeah, you can sustain yourself. Trouble can basically never go down. Not that Trouble like has any problem, or not that Trouble really deals damage, but it's great for the Deadringer class mod. It's great on every single build in the game, and typically you're not going to use any of the other class mods just because of how good this is. It can also give you points in Blood is Magic, giving you increased skill damage the higher your health, and again with lifesteal you're gonna have no problem sustaining that. Also gives you Corporeal here, which is an amazing skill. Vex and her minions gain increased maximum overshield and overshield duration. So not only do you get overshield steal, you get increased overshield, and when you have overshield, you and your minions gain increased damage dealt. It's insane. So there's not even like I think the Grave Thirst 5 points in there is the best roll, but you can have a couple points Corporeal, a couple points Blood is Magic, and it can also give you points into the Conjunction here. Vex gains increased gun damage the more full her shield, and damage reduction the less full her health. There's just 4 solid rolls on this. It is like the best class mod I would say in the entire game. No one else has anything that comes close to how powerful this is. And it always comes stock with a 12% lifesteal. So yeah, you're not going down often with this, even if you're using like a smaller shield. You can even use something like the Collector Shield, which has 356,000 shield. And yeah, you're not dropping. Vex is the tankiest character in the game thanks to this amazing class mod. Hope they don't end up nerfing this at all. It's a great one. And while things like the Dancer class mod for Rafa are amazing, I would even say this is a little bit better because the sustain that you get from this is so good, which fuels into Watch for Dinner. It's a very synergetic one. All 4 of the skill rolls are amazing on this, and that's why it's our best class mod for Vex. But let me know your favorite class mods for Vex in the comments. Again, I try to keep the purples out of it just to make things a little bit more interesting and just give a bit more conversation around our class mods. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next video.